I'm free! I'm out of the building! I'm sorry. I just finished, well, I didn't just finish. By the time this video comes out, finals will have been passed. I would have gotten my grades back. And I'll put on screen whether or not I passed my classes or not, so you guys get to see that. But another semester is down. It's in the books, and I am back to finally having some free time. I really do try to have a good work and school balance during the year, but this semester I was just swamped with project after project. So I didn't have time to do any of like my extracurricular fun art stuff, which includes making YouTube videos. Just a reminder for everyone, I am an art hobbyist. I do this as like a fun hobby. I don't really make money from this. Occasionally I do get commissions, but I don't have any like major projects that are bringing in money for me to quit my day job. That's not what's happening here, so I am just going to keep on making art when I can. And honestly, that's, enough to make me happy. I make art when I can. If I get money from it, then that's a bonus. Then I get to use that money to boost me up a little. But today, I have so much to show you guys. So, this is one of my traveler's journals. I have 3 in total. I like putting charms in them. So, this one I used during school. This is my cutesy coquette traveler's journal that I have. This one I used a lot during the semester. This one is my personal at-home traveler's journal. I don't really travel with this one. It stays home a lot because this charm I got at an art festival and it's very fragile, so I don't like taking it outside. But this is my personal traveler's journal. It's a little bit chunkier than this one, but that's because I used that one more. This one in particular is my Avatar themed traveler's journal. And I mean Avatar as in like the James Cameron Blue People Avatar. So this is what this traveler's journal is completely decorated for. This is like an extra necklace I have, and then this is a tiny song cord kind of charm bracelet necklace thing I made for my journal. I did make an extra verse because, okay, I'm gonna have to info dump on you guys because Pandora has taken up residence in my mind, so prepare yourselves to learn. So when you have a song chord, there are verses and there are choruses. The verses are when moments of your life. So that's the different patterns that are added on. So this here is the chorus. These are the repeating beads that will repeat all throughout the bracelet or the song chord. This part here is a chorus. This is when you have like variation in beads and charms and stuff. That's when something in your life takes place. So I made an extra verse, but it was too big to fit on here, so I've just been keeping it on my desk in case I, want to add it to something later. But this is my book, and if we open it up, you get to see some of the artwork that I have been making. I've been like back-to-back live streaming on TikTok and stuff, so I've been busy. This is my Navi Sona, my Navi OC Kuru, or well, I pronounce it as Kuru. More emphasis on the at the end after the accent mark, but you guys don't have to do that. I won't have you guys in language classes for all of that. But this is my Navi Sona. I will try to have like the still images of this on screen for you guys because I know that it's the way the light reflects on some pages, it's hard to visibly like get a good read on everything. But I have them, and then I also have a water Navi OC. This is Whaley, my pretty boy. And then I have like more drawings in here, and then I even have like some unfinished pages that I was working on. And then, this is a comic I did of my OC Kiru meeting Oti, who is a cave-dwelling Navi, which I'm gonna have a whole bunch of like illustrations planned and stuff, but they live in caves and stuff. Mine looks a little different than the typical Navi. I'll explain that in the art portion, the coloring portion of the video. But I did this little comic. I haven't posted this yet. I will probably post this either before I finish editing this YouTube video or after the YouTube video goes out. but I do have a lot of Navi drawings that I've been doing lately because it's just been, my current fixation, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just having a little bit of fun. And that little bit of fun has spiraled into me making a really, really big illustration. And I made this really big because I was hoping to use it for my YouTube banner, because as an artist, I struggle with finding a good balance between using traditional and digital art mediums. I really love traditional art. There's just something about it that warms my heart. But sometimes, especially when you're trying to make things for social media, it's easier to use digital things because with traditional art, you have to resize it and edit it, and sometimes it doesn't look as well when you take photos, so you just do it digitally. But I want to take the time to encourage people to hold on to traditional art skills, because something's easier doesn't make it better. I'm not saying that digital art is bad. Digital art is great. It's innovative, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I'm saying that we shouldn't lose sight of traditional. So I made this big piece that I'm going to use as one of my YouTube banners, and probably my banners for any other social media that has like a banner feature. But this is, I did the line art and stuff and sketch off camera because I did not know how to hold the camera. It's really big. It's taking up the entire screen, as you can see. But my character, Kuru, oh dear, I dropped something. I will pick that up later. My character, Kuru, is a traveling merchant in the savannah areas. So this is their cart. It's a little big here, but not big enough. It's like a little far back in the distance. And then here they are, sitting in the little grass, little patch of the land. So we're going to color this, and I'll talk to you guys more about how I designed everything, and I'll work through the whole process. So let's go over to the overhead camera. Alright, so I do want to start, before I get into any, info dumping, letting you guys into the current thought process of my brain that's absolutely haywire with ideas at the moment, I wanted to talk about the materials I used. So the paper I used is actually Canson marker paper. The sheets come as like a 9x12, but I did tape 2 of them together and trim them down just a little bit. I did not measure it. I just kind of went with what looked good to me. So I didn't measure it. Unfortunately, if I have the time to measure it later with a ruler, I'll put the measurements on screen for you guys to see the exact dimensions of the piece once it was finished. The markers I used were primarily Copic markers and then Artex markers. Those are the 2 brands that I use or gravitate to the most these days. So that's what I'm using. And that is all I have to say for materials. Now, let me get comfy. I have no idea why I've become absolutely, I wouldn't say obsessed. I would say I've been inspired heavily by Avatar these days, which is really weird for me because it's not, I've seen the movies when they first came out, and when I was younger, I had this talk before and it was kind of embarrassing. I used to pretend to dislike Avatar online because I thought it was culturally offensive, and that was a big thing I had to deal with as a young artist, is finding out what is or isn't okay to draw or and anything that I felt like I couldn't tell if it was okay to I would just dislike it, which is normal. You don't want, as I think a good person or a normal person wouldn't want to do things that offend others. That's normal. So to distance myself from something that I thought was initially going to be controversial is okay. That's a normal thing that people do. But as I've gotten older, I realized that you can enjoy things and show respect to different cultures without, it being seen as disrespectful or rude or wrong. And so I actually really liked the Avatar movies. And as an adult, I decided to finally draw some art for it, which sucks because I know that when Avatar movies was first coming out, there was so much merch and stuff you could get, and now I can't get it anymore, and I feel upset with my past self because I'm like, no, I want it now. Why didn't you get it? But you live and you learn. Although there are like some books and stuff and like stickers I want to get, but I haven't because I haven't had the money for it. Things are getting more expensive these days, unfortunately, and as an adult, I have to take care of other priorities. However, if you want to support me in my endeavors, I do have a Ko-fi page. Ko-fi is kind of like Patreon, so if you want to like support me or see like behind the scenes art stuff or get heads up about what projects I'm working on, you can check that out. I will have the link in the description. It's also in my bio. So if you are feeling a little generous, by all means, donate, buy me a coffee. Selfless plug aside, I made my own Navi OC / persona. I'm not sure if I want to call them my persona because I feel like they're their own character. If I were to like make a persona, it would be like a little different, but I'm not quite sure. You know what? I'm probably going to draw more of it later. Who am I kidding? I've drawn so much. I've made so many characters. Speaking of the character designs I've made, I like making Navi that have like different patterns or like skin tones and patterns that are based on their like location. In my mind, I keep wanting to say biomes like Minecraft, but it's not biomes. It's a whole planet, and I think that it'd be cool to see them like more heavily influenced by their environment, which they are. Like in Avatar Way of Water, the reef Navi, I don't know how to pronounce the actual word that they are called. I'm not gonna try. You know what? I'm at the point in my life where, you know what, I can't say it, so I'm not gonna. But the reef Navi are like different than the forest Navi that we typically see in like the first movie. They are like a teal color, more oceany. They have like the fins and the wider tails. So I feel like that's a clear indication that the environment changes what the Navi looks like, obviously. So my OC Kuru is from a savanna, or like a savanna landscape, as close to a savanna that you can get on Pandora. I am not 1,000% sure about like what the environments outside of like what's seen in the movies. I haven't played the video game. I know there's a video game. I haven't played it. I don't have the books. I would like to, get them, but I can't right now. So I'm just going based off of the knowledge and pictures that I can see that's free on the internet. And that's just how it's going to be right now. So I went for someone who lives in the savannah. And I was thinking, like, how can I make this more interesting? What about their design really would speak to me? And I thought about their stripe pattern, and I wanted to do something different, so I did leopard print. And yes, this is leopard print and not cheetah print. Cheetah prints are just the spots. The leopard print is when they have the half circles around, like, dots and stuff. That's how you're able to tell the difference. A lot of things that people like these days are actually leopard print, not cheetah print. So I decided to give them like a cheetah print skin pattern. I'd call it a fur pattern because I do think they are a bit fluffier than the forest Navi, but not like the fluffiest kind of Navi. If I make another like Navi like subclass or variation, I want to do like a tundra based Navi, and they will be like tundra mixed with like saber-tooth tiger. I'm not 100% sure about that, but it's a work in progress. I'm currently was finishing up on like cave Navi, like Navis that evolved to only live in cave systems and like cave colonies, and that's what Odie is. I showed him off in the beginning in a little comic strip. I have a whole like illustration collage that I made with him on my Ko-fi page that you guys can check out. But I like doing them and having like variations that are more obvious as opposed to just like their stripe patterns. But for Kuru, since they are in a savanna, I gave them thicker legs and made them like a little bit like bottom heavy, because like in the savanna, a lot of those animals are runners. Like you have to run to survive. So I made them with thicker legs to, emphasize that ability to move faster, to run faster. But my OC, they're pretty lazy. To be fair, it's me. I'm pretty lazy. So I made it so that they are actually a traveling merchant. So that's what I'm like coloring on like the left side of the screen. Yes, the left side of the screen is their merchant cart with a couple of like little goodies and stuff in it. I had to look up like a different like merchant type carts and how they're styled to really put together something that looks whimsical but could also exist on Pandora. So that was interesting. And so that's that. And then the background, I was so like back and forth with like sketching. I didn't record the sketching process because I knew it was going to be a hassle, and I didn't want to deal with that. I recorded a little bit of the line art process, so I'll share that as like a YouTube short later on after this video goes up to, show you guys a little bit of what went into this. Oh, by the way, let me know if you guys like the overhead view of the illustration, like the drawing straight down at the desk. I was trying something new since the paper was a bit bigger than what I'm used to. So I'm not sure if it looks good. I think it looks okay, but you guys let me know in the comment section your thoughts, opinions, questions, and inquiries. What could change, could I do better? I'm willing to learn, to listen. But for the background, I didn't know what like granted I could have made a better savannah if I looked up actual pictures of the savannah. In my mind, I'm thinking grassy, kind of like terracotta plains. Really, I had Minecraft on the brain. So I'm just like, yeah, I think that's like the closest to a savanna biome. Dark trees, big poofy leaves. And I decided to make them like very like, I want to say like flat and oval, with like the way that the leaves were like at the very top were spread out. Something that looks like you could like sit something on, like the top of a table, or like mushroom tops, kind of. I hope that makes sense. It makes sense to me, so that's just what I'm going with. I did do a lot of layering with like the greens and such to all the leaves to give it more dimension in the background, because I usually don't do backgrounds, but I was just so inspired I had to. I feel like a big part of Pandora is the environment. It's not just the character design, it's the creature design, the background, the prop work. All of it factors into creating a world that you can get immersed in. And I think that's what I've been like missing these days with like media that I looked at, is that I want something that I can be completely immersed in. Something that is complete on its own. Like, yes, you can add to it, but if it just stopped with one movie, it would be a complete thing on its own. And that's my problem with like a lot of things nowadays, is that people are so focused on making things in parts to bring people in later, when if you completed the whole thing and it's good, people will want more. That's what I think, at least. Like, if you did something good, people would want more. Like, they'd ask you for more. They'd seek out more information about it. But everything's in parts to just drag people along and drag their attention along. And I hate it, because I'm just like, no, I want you to dedicate the time to completing this thing as like one whole project. And then if you have the time to make more, do more. If not, that's okay. But don't leave me with a half-baked idea that you're only going to touch on later. Because it's not, to me, it's not gratifying. It's not satisfying in the end to go through all of that and then just get this half-baked idea that will only be referenced a little bit in the next part. So that's my own like beef with like media being produced nowadays. So I've resorted back to enjoying older media. I mean, to me it's not older media. I get it. It came out years ago, but it's still relevant to me, so I wouldn't call it old, Then again, I do like some vintage and antique things myself, so time is an illusion. I will enjoy things at my own pace. There's no hurry. But there is a hurry for me to continue coloring this background. because I wanted it to be like a smooth blend, but when you're going across like large spans or like spaces with a marker, it's a hassle to try and make it look smooth. That's why I like broke up the sandy dirt into like these little sections. That way I can fill in one section at a time and still make it look interesting. Because I knew coloring the whole thing one color was just gonna look spotchy. It wasn't gonna look good. So I did variations of like tans and pinks and stuff to bring it all together to make an interesting sandy background. That's all I had to say or to yap about for this illustration. I know there's more footage to come, so I'm going to leave you guys here with some lovely music, and I will see you guys in the final part of the showcase, or well, when I show you guys the final illustration. Okay, see you later. Voila! Here it is. I did finish a little bit of the shading and highlights off camera because I needed to like hold my face like this close to the paper to make sure everything was looking good. And depending on like how I hold things, there's a lot of glare. So I figured that wouldn't be good for you guys to watch, so I just did it on my own. And then I added washi tape to the border of this illustration. So here we have Kuru and their traveling merchant cart. I've talked about it a little bit before in the voiceover stuff. Or well, so it's really weird. So a little behind the scenes information for you guys that I do a lot of the video recording and the parts where you hear me talking and it's in real time with the video. That comes before I do the voiceover for all the speed up drawing parts. So in actuality, I have a general idea of what I'm going to say, but I am not 100% sure of what I will say. That is all on editing Toby to figure out as they go. It's a process, but I won't bore you guys too much with any more of the logistics of everything. I will have this full illustration available for you guys to see on my social medias and stuff. It's probably going to be my banner once I like photograph it well, get the lighting right on it. I got to do all that post-editing stuff. I was debating about how to frame this, but I realized that the illustration, height-wise, is a little bit shorter than the sketchbook I made. So I know this might make some people cringe or feel like, they're screaming no, or they're in the comment section saying, no, don't do it, please. I am just going to tape this into one page and then fold it into my sketchbook so I can like reveal it and pull it out whenever I feel like it. I don't mind it if my art gets creased or if it has like tears in it over time. I think that adds to it lived, I took a moment to draw something, illustrate it, and then I continued to live my life. I didn't frame it or stop it in a moment. I kept it with me. We grew together. So I am going to put this in this sketchbook I'm gonna find a page that has like maybe some alcohol bleed through, and then I'm just gonna tape this on the other side of it and have it pop out. I'll probably do some more illustrations and doodles of my avatars on the other page just to make it a cohesive thing. Or maybe I'll like put it in the middle and have it fold out on both sides. That could be interesting. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet, but I want to thank you for stopping by and taking the time to watch my video. I know I make promises that I'll have new videos out soon, or I'll have something for you guys to see. It takes a lot of time. I'm so sorry. But I do have something for my next YouTube video. It's going to be a little shorter than this one, and it's going to be featuring this little doll or plushie right here. And that's all the hint you guys are getting for the next video. So thank you for watching. Remember to eat something, drink something, and as always, have a great day. Bye bye!